Alright, let's get Sunday's Daily Puzzle on chess.com a shot. This one's called Sacrificial Clockwork. It's white to move. Give the video a pause and try it yourself if you feel like it. Okay, so immediately I have a double check. Is this going to be a smaller mate? There's a lot of interesting things happening here. Okay, so if I check with the knight, I'm checking with the bishop and the knight at the same time. So the king has to move. King only has one place to move to. It's here. Then I can check with the knight again. And I think the pawn has to take that, right? Yep, pawn has to take, but then I take here, checking the king in the corner. Ooh, wow. Yeah, this war. And then eventually my queen sneaks over. And that's checkmate. Wild. Okay. Yeah, so this forces the king to the corner. Check here forces the pawn to take. Takes, queen takes is forced. I guess it's not forced, but I mean, like, it's basically forced, right? And then rook takes. I sacrifice the rook because there's a bishop here to back it up, but the queen moves out of the way, so eventually my queen gives checkmate on this square. I'm pretty sure that's just it. That doesn't seem like a particularly hard Sunday puzzle, but it's a long line, I guess. Pretty sure that works. Let me run through this one more time. So knight here, nothing can take because it's a double check. So you can't take one of the pieces because the other piece will still be checking. So the king has to move. King moves here. Then my knight has the ability to jump to here. Nothing's protecting this square besides this pawn. The king can't move anywhere because my bishop has this square. So pawn has to take. Then I take the knight. So the rook is checking. Again, the king has nowhere to move. So something has to block the check or take the rook. The queen could block the check here, but then I have checkmate with a couple different pieces. My queen or my rook could take. So I think the queen is going to take the rook. Then I replace the rook. And the same problem persists, so the bishop has to take the rook. But then at the very end of the line, my queen just sneaks over for checkmate. It's like mate in 7 or something, but I think that is checkmate. Let's give it a try. Here. 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 That's mate in 5, actually. Sick. Okay. Nice to get a Sunday that quickly. My first idea was what the puzzle was. That rarely happens on a Sunday. Cool, let's run that back. Nice, so I didn't think this one was too bad for a Sunday. It just happened to be the first thing that I thought of, but I noticed that if I move this knight and jump to here, I'm checking the king with 2 pieces, because it's discovered attack on the king, and then checking with the knight, so the king has to move in that circumstance. And the king's going to have to move to the corner. That's the only place it can move to. And then I have this check, which is going to open the h-file, because again, there's only one move for black. You have to take that with the pawn. And then I can take the knight, and that's a discovered attack on the king. The rook is being attacked by 2 different pieces, so that's tough. But after the queen takes, I replace the queen, or I replace one rook with the other rook, and then my other rook gets taken. So I lose 2 rooks, but then my queen is going to have the ability to slide over and give the checkmate. So let me show you what that looks like. So it's check here, double check with these 2 pieces. King moves to the corner, forced. That's the only move. Jump here, check. Pawn has to take, only move. Take the knight, so I'm checking with the rook. Queen's going to have to take that. The queen could block, but it would just result in checkmate. So queen takes, I replace it, check again. I lose 2 rooks, but my queen has the ability to slide over and give this checkmate. King's got nowhere to go. And that's a Sunday pose, baby. There it is. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.